Hello, and thanks for clicking on this video. If you enjoy mythology and deeper dives like this, consider subscribing and sharing your thoughts in the comments. In today's video, we're talking about a spider, and not a widow or a recluse, but a spider that, according to Greek mythology, was once a woman. A woman who committed a crime so serious that a goddess destroyed her life and condemned her to weave forever. Her name was Arachne, and her crime was simple: she was better than a goddess. Arachne was a mortal weaver whose skill became so famous that people claimed her work rivaled the goddess Athena herself. Athena was not like the other gods. She did not rule through fear like Zeus, but rather through mastery, wisdom, strategy, and craft. To the Greeks, Athena represented something very specific, and that was the belief that intelligence and discipline could shape the world. Where other gods represented raw power, Athena represented skill. She was the patron of craftsmen, architects, strategists, and thinkers. Among all the skills she was associated with, one stood above the rest: weaving. In the ancient world, weaving was not a simple household task, but a respected craft, a form of storytelling, and a foundation of the household economy. Patterns could depict myths, history, and status. Weaving was a fundamental craft that held society together, and according to the Greeks, Athena herself had given this craft to humanity, which carried significance in this contest. If Athena created weaving, then no mortal should ever surpass her, and Arachne was a mortal. A weaver from Lydia with no divine blood, no blessing from Olympus. Only talent. But sometimes, talent is enough to change everything. The city of Lydia was known for its craftsmen, and among them, Arachne quickly became something unusual. Her hands moved across the loom with a precision that seemed almost impossible. Thread by thread, pattern by pattern, the cloth would take shape. Scenes, stories, colors, woven together so perfectly that people began to whisper, "Something dangerous." Maybe this wasn't just skill, maybe it was divine. Visitors began saying Athena herself must have taught her. After all, who else could weave like this? But Arachne rejected that idea. She refused to give the gods credit for what she had created. She insisted the talent was hers, that the skill came from her own hands and her own mind. Eventually, the whispers turned into something louder, and people stopped comparing her work to Athena's and began saying something else entirely: that Arachne might be better, and Arachne did not deny it. In fact, she embraced it and said she did not need a goddess to explain her skill. She claimed it was her own. Now, in a world ruled by gods, this claim was not confidence. It was an outright rebellion against the divine. In due time, the stories of a mortal weaver whose skill rivaled Athena herself would eventually reach Olympus. At first, they were nothing more than whispers, but whispers became comparisons. Comparisons then became open boasts of superiority. Arachne was not shy about her talent. She told anyone who would listen that her work was her own, and that she owed nothing to the gods. Should Athena believe herself the greater weaver, she should come prove it. That was the moment Athena decided to intervene. But when Athena came to Lydia, she did not arrive as a goddess. She came disguised as a frail old woman, bent with age, a stranger no one would recognize. The elderly woman approached Arachne quietly and offered her a warning. Talent is a gift, and pride is dangerous. Respect the gods, do not compare yourself to them. Seek for forgiveness, and perhaps Athena will be merciful. This was Arachne's final chance, a moment to step back, to take the advice and let the rumors die. But Arachne refused. She laughed at the warning. She said she would not apologize for her talent. If Athena believed she was better, then to come and prove it. And at that moment, the old woman disappeared. The disguise fell away, and standing before Arachne was Athena herself. The challenge had been accepted, and the contest began. Two looms were placed side by side as thread was drawn tight across their frames. Both women worked in silence, their hands moving quickly through the warp and weft as the tapestries slowly took form. Athena wove with the confidence of a goddess whose craft was believed to have given the art of weaving to humanity itself. Her tapestry displayed the world as the gods wished it to be seen, scenes of divine authority, Zeus seated in power, the Olympians triumphant, mortals honoring the order of the heavens. Around the edges, she included warnings, small scenes of those who had dared to challenge the gods and were punished for their arrogance, a reminder of the consequences of defiance. Arachne chose a very different story. Her hands moved just as swiftly, her technique just as precise, and thread by thread her tapestry revealed something the gods rarely allowed to be spoken aloud. Zeus, disguising himself again and again to deceive mortal women, gods exploiting mortals, power used without restraint or accountability. It was not just skillful work, it was fearless truth. Every line of thread perfectly placed, every image clear and undeniable. Even Athena could see it. Arachne had not only matched the goddess in mastery of the craft, she had woven a truth the gods themselves would rather have remained hidden. Athena stepped forward and studied the finished tapestry in silence. She could see immediately that there was no flaw in it, no mistake in the weaving, no weakness in the technique. Every thread had been placed with perfect control. Arachne had matched the goddess in skill, but it was not the craftsmanship that filled Athena with anger. It was what the tapestry showed. Scene after scene of the gods deceiving mortals, abusing their power, disguising themselves to exploit those beneath them. It was not praise, not reverence, but accusation. Arachne had not woven a tribute to the gods. She had woven a mirror, and in that mirror, the Olympians did not look noble or wise. They looked cruel, petty, and flawed. Athena knew the work was perfect, and that made it far more dangerous than if it had been clumsy or insulting, because the truth had been displayed in flawless detail. In a single tapestry, Arachne had done what mortals were never meant to do. She had exposed the gods. Athena could not allow that to stand. Athena destroyed the tapestry, then turned her fury on Arachne herself, and in that moment the contest was no longer about weaving, it was about power. That was the moment Athena lost, but Athena's anger did not stop with the destruction of the tapestry. In her fury, she struck Arachne, the mortal who had dared to challenge her, the mortal who had dared to expose the gods so openly. The blow was not simply punishment, it was humiliation. Arachne had matched a goddess in skill, but she was still only human, and the message was clear. There were limits mortals were not meant to cross. Overcome with shame and despair, Arachne fled from the loom and tied a cord around her neck. She would not wait for the gods to decide her fate, she would choose her own ending. When Athena saw what the mortal had done, her anger began to fade, and what remained was something far more complicated. Not forgiveness, but pity. Arachne had been arrogant, but she had also been extraordinary. Athena cut the cord before death could fully claim her, but she did not restore the mortal's life as it was. Instead, she transformed her, and Arachne's body shrank, her limbs stretched and thinned, and she became something small and fragile, a spider, condemned to weave forever, not as a rival to the gods, but as a reminder of what happens when mortals dare to challenge them. Now, to me, this myth was not solely a warning against arrogance. It was also a warning against comparison. Arachne did not claim to be stronger than the gods. She did not challenge Olympus with weapons or armies. She only did one thing. She proved that a mortal could rival a goddess, and that was far more dangerous. The gods demanded excellence from mortals, but only when that excellence reinforced their supremacy. To the ancient Greeks, this story explained something uncomfortable about the world. Greatness alone is not enough. Truth is not always welcomed, and why the powerful often fear being equaled more than they fear being challenged. Arachne was not punished for weaving too well. She was punished for proving that the gods were not unique. While Olympus could tolerate the occasional rebellion, Olympus could never tolerate equality. So Arachne was transformed into something small, a spider, doomed to weave forever. No longer a rival, but a reminder that even excellence has limits in a world ruled by gods.